Hey, what's up? This is your brother in the struggle, Assad Malik. Username 19 Lion King 74. And what you're looking at right now are my prized possessions. It's been said that if you wanted to keep something from a black man, put it in a book because he'll never think to look there. But fortunately, I love to read. Most of these I've picked up online. Some were gifts. Others I picked up from thrift stores, and still others I appropriated from the local public libraries. And I don't even have a library card, so you figure that out. Let's see, we have here selected works of Mao Zedong, and a couple of volumes here, and these were gifts from a communist associate of mine. Although I don't particularly subscribe to communism, I am aware that a lot of African civilizations were communal in their structure. So there is a link between communalism and communism. Here's a book by two authors, Moore and Gillette, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and it's about these archetypes of man: the king, the warrior, the magician, the lover. And they wrote this book based on Carl Jung's studies. Carl Jung, the understudy of Sigmund Freud. You got here The Infinite Self. Oh, you can't see that. The Infinite Self by Stuart Wilde. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And Iron John by Robert Bly. The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. The Prophet, Khalil Gibran. And if you'll notice, I do have books by European authors. And it's safe to say that in war, no good general would be so ignorant to make the mistake of not studying the thoughts of his enemy. This book right here is one of my favorites. It's the Hagakure, Book of the Samurai, and I was turned on to it after watching a 1999 movie called Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker in it. And the book basically talks about how a samurai should conduct himself in life, as well as how he should conduct himself at that ultimate moment of truth in death. So it has some good stuff in it. This book here, The Secret Science of Black Male and Female Sex, it's pretty much a metaphysical book. It's by this brother by the name of Carrier. So you can get some more light on that. Got The Art of Mackin by Tariq Nasheed. The Elite Way by Tariq Nasheed. The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar. Mode 1, Let Women Know What You're Really Thinking. The Naked Soul of Iceberg Slim. Pimp by Iceberg Slim. So not only am I interested in philosophy and spirituality and black history, I also like to get up on my street novels, the street fiction. It's always good to be well-rounded like that. Leadership Lessons of the Navy SEALs. What's this? This is The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman by Shahrazad Ali. And if you're a black man and you're dealing with a black woman in 2014, you must read this book, because if you are and you haven't, you are at a great disadvantage. And as you can see, this book is pretty much in tatters. The reason for that is because after the second time I read this book, I went through it and highlighted everything that I identified with and had personally experienced in the relationship with the mother of my children. And almost every page, and I'm not bullshitting, almost every page is highlighted. I gave the woman an ultimatum that either she read the book or the male and female intimate, romantic, sexual relationship between her and I would be over. And she decided not to read it. And one day she got so upset and out of her mind, in an infantile fit of rage, she threw the book at me and it busted up into a few pieces. I managed to salvage a couple of them, but the beginning of the book is nowhere to be found. And we got here some business books. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. I picked up this book because I saw an interview with Warren Buffett, who's worth about $60 billion. He said that this book was his Bible. So I figured, hey, it's good enough for this wealthy dude. It's good enough for me to at least check it out and see what the meat and potatoes of it is. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. The Power of Persuasion. What else? Blueprint for Black Power, Dr. Amos N. Wilson. 800 plus page book, an epic book, a saga of nonfiction black nationalist literary genius. And of the 800 and some odd pages, I managed to get through approximately 75. Now, Dr. Wilson said in one of his lectures that he deliberately made the book as lengthy and difficult to read as he did because the story of us as Africans in America could not be summed up in 50 words or less. And I definitely agree with him. And peace and blessings be upon him forever for his dedication and commitment to us as a people, and him leaving a literary legacy. We have here United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept by Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., and he breaks down the global system of racism, white supremacy like no one else, bar none. Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, ISIS Papers, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, The Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams, Souls of Black Folk, W.E.B. Du Bois, Wretched of the Earth, France Fanon, Autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley, Survival Strategies by Anthony Browder, Blood in My Eye, George Jackson, Revolutionary Brother George Jackson. The 43rd anniversary of his execution is coming up. I believe he shot dead in San Quentin April 21st, 1971. Peace be on our brother George Jackson. Message to the Black Man in America, Elijah Muhammad. Philosophies and Opinions, Marcus Garvey. Lucia Mulana Karenga, From Niggas to Gods, Volume 2 by Akil. And this brother, Akil, he makes a great point in that how he asks the question, how do you kill someone? Well, you must first make that person killable. And if you can wrap your mind around the fact that if we as black folks refer to each other as kings and queens instead of bitches and hoes, well, it will be harder to kill a king or a queen than it is to kill a bitch or a hoe. So what the brother Akil is saying is that in order to first kill someone, you have to dehumanize them, make them less than human, subhuman, and then killing them will be easy as pie. Asafo here by Mwalimu Barudi. I think I have all of Dr. Naeem Akbar's books, Community of Self, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery, Visions for Black Men, Know Thyself. And what I like particularly about Dr. Akbar's books is that all of them are under 100 pages, short and sweet, right to the point, no frills, War on the Horizon, and it's subtitled Black Resistance to the White Sex Assault. This is by the brother Irritated Genie of Southeast. Good brother, good book. How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2. Breaking the Curse of Willie Lynch, The Science of Slave Psychology by Alvin Morrow, another excellent book. The Meadow by Ra'u Nefer Amen. Layla Africa, African Holistic Health. Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Anthony Browder. All of these books here should be required reading for every child of African descent before he or she graduates high school. No doubt. Okay. You know what I've noticed though, is that when I'm out in public reading, there's always some European who approaches me and asks the question, "Hey, what are you reading there?" And every one of them receives this scowl from me. I mean, kind of like the Grinch that stole Christmas is how I look at these people. Asking me, what am I reading, is akin to asking me what's on my mind. What am I thinking about? What am I planning? And to that question, the only answer I have is, it's none of your motherfucking business. You are trespassing upon my mental property, and I will not have that. But then I start to think of why we as Africans were prohibited to read in the first place. 200-300 years ago, any African caught reading could be put to death. And the reason for that was, like Frederick Douglass said, and I'll paraphrase here, but he said that once a man is educated, he is no longer fit to be a slave. And these people were definitely afraid of us being and becoming educated, because they knew that with that knowledge and that information, if applied correctly, we could overthrow them. So even now in 2014, I think that the residual effects of that mindset still courses through the Europeans' veins, so that when they see me reading, their heart palpitates. And the same can also be said for us as Black folks in 2014, because we as a group read far less than any other group. Maybe, just maybe, the residual effects of that fear of being put to death still courses through our veins as well, and keeps us from opening up a book, keeps us with this attitude of aversion towards learning or reading. And it's just a thought. But in closing, I want to say that one should never be impressed by how many books someone has read or how many books a person has, because you can load a donkey up with a library of books onto its back, and it'll still be a donkey because it does not have the intelligence, the awareness, or the wherewithal to even utilize that information that's on its back. It's okay to appreciate knowledge and information, but it's much better to apply it. And that is all for now.